Don't feel fucking at me. 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 Come on. Don't feel fucking at me. Don't feel fucking at me. Come on. Don't feel fucking at me. Don't feel fucking at me. Don't feel fucking. it's hard because I'm falling. I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, falling.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another AFR broadcast. Today we're coming to you from Spain with round 5 of the F2 Championship. Hopefully it will be a decent couple of races tonight. As usual, I am Kunai Zero, and looks like I'll be bringing this one to you by myself. Might be joined later on in the commentary box, but for now I'm flying solo. See how that all pans out. Quick update now from the standings. So we are 5 rounds in. Sphinx currently leading the championship with 91 points, with great results in Australia and Bahrain. Revo in second. He missed 2 races this season so far, but he's still in 89, showing off his prowess. And Potsy is taking up that 3rd place on the championship board with 77 points, coming out with a win last week in Azerbaijan in the sprint race. Okay, so we are currently in qualifying, 28 minutes and 30 seconds to go. A couple of people out on their out laps. Let's jump on with some new ones. Haven't seen Flubber before. Looks like he is one of the new guys. I'm pretty sure I recognise everyone else. Ooh, wearing the centre helmet. Respect. So, should be in for a good one. As everybody starts to prepare, of course, Spain being one of those, it's notorious for being a boring track, but hopefully the spec series of F2 should help liven things up. As Flubber is coming around onto the straight. Let's jump on board and have a look what the flying lap looks like. So of course, absolute full speed down here with DRS on onto that first corner. Its brakes around about the 100-meter mark. Want to be careful of this inside curb there. Can throw you off if you're not careful. As he holds on to that traction, trying to move up to the Pirelli bridge. Really hit in 6th gear, no, hold it in the 5th, down a couple of gears. Trying to hug that corner tight. He now moves up to the next bend. Down again through the gears. 2nd gear. Not touching the inside curb, but using all of the track on the outside, trying to keep that momentum. Now, this inside curb here is a little dangerous, but he manages to make it work. Pushes up now through the gears, onto the next corner. Nice little hold. Now, some people reckon you can take that flat. I am yet to see someone do that, especially with these F2 cars. So it'll be interesting to see if we can see anyone do that. Looks like he missed the brake marker just a little bit wide on the apex there as he moves in. Has to fight the steering wheel a little bit. Uses all of the curb there. He goes out a little bit too wide. Push forward again. Wrestle one more time. Goes down in the 3rd. Goes a little bit too wide. Not sure if that's considered invalidate. Makes his way through the chicane. Losing a little bit of traction as he comes now onto the main straight. Hits the DRS, crosses the line, what it'll be. A 132.8. But uninvalidated, obviously, when he went off the track there. So he'll have to try and set another one. Everybody so far now on the hard compound. So, everybody getting their warm-ups in preparation for their proper flying laps. Gus Rules with a 132.7, Revo with a 133.1, Potsy with a 133.8, and Wahid goes across there with a 137.0. So 4 people setting their laps so far. Bind is just making his way through that latter section of the track. Preparation for his flying lap. A little bit of drift there. Oh, he stopped in the middle of the track. What's going on here? Guess we're just letting Gus go past. That's okay. So 25 minutes still left to go. Everybody has more than enough time to get in their proper flying laps. Gus Rules goes across faster again, 132.6. So he's holding on to pole position so far. Good job from him. Let's jump on board with combined. Going a little bit slower. I don't think he's quite comfortable with the car just yet. Apollo Pepsi retires from the session, so that's going to be him done, and he hasn't even... Ooh, it's wide. White just losing it there. No damage though. Resets the track. So Apollo Pepsi is out of the race. Oh, sorry, out of the session, I should say. Not sure why though. Oh, it's going to be him. He'll have to start at the back, I think. Alright, as Bandcamp goes across the line now for his flying. Nice speed. A little bit of a lock-up, though. As he comes into that first turn. Through the second. Now for the wide sweeper. Let's see. Can he hold the speed well? Not using the green bit. Comes up under that Pirelli bridge. Into the fourth corner. Ooh, just wrestling the steering wheel there, hits the grass as well. Loses a lot of traction. So Bandcamp, usually one that you see in the F1 series, in Tier 1. Really, really good at handling the car. You can see he's struggling a little bit with F2. He did tell me earlier that he's trying to use F2 to break the no assists. So we'll see how well he can wrestle it. Right now going through the end of Sector 2. Unfortunately down on his time by 500ths. So let's see if he can make it up in Sector 3. As he moves through it. Has to try and hold the traction there. Did a good job using the curb. Got to be really careful with these curves. A lot of them are elevated, so they tend to throw your car in each direction, as we see Wahid pulling into the pits there. Bandcamp with an overtake at the pit entry. Cheeky, cheeky. Alright. So 22 minutes remaining. As CK80 makes his way in. We've got a couple more people with laps. Let's see. Alright, so Revo is now your leader. He is with a 131.8. Good job there from him. Gus Rules with a 132.6, so he's in second now. Potsy with a 132.9. That gives him the third place on the grid. AFR Lotus, nice to see him up in the rankings. 133.1, so he's taking out the second spot on the second row of the grid. Bandcamp with a 133.7. Impulse with a 134.2. Wahid with a 135.2. And CK80 with a 135.6. I say that as combined YouTuber gets across the line with a 132.5. Breaking apart Revo and Gus there, so he'll now slot into second. Well, good job from these drivers. Yes, Lucky Richard, F2 quali is longer. However, there is this sort of agreed upon rule that all the drivers will take about 4 laps and then they retire so that we can get on with the race quicker. It's not law. I mean, you can use the entirety of the 30 minutes, but most people don't. You'll probably see it filter down to about 15-10 minutes, and we should see everybody ready to go. There's Pacey now coming into the pit, so he won't finish his lap. Still tweaking that car. As Gus Rules is on his out lap. We're still waiting on 4 drivers to set a lap time. Of course, Apollo Pepsi did retire earlier in the session, so he won't have to. Cause him to start at the back, however. You see Gus Rules going around here. It's always nice to see the F2 cars. It's a nice little change from F1. I love the F1 racing, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the F2 is just so much closer and a lot more fun. And yeah, I'm always keen to see how they all managed to battle it out in the feature race. And then, of course, with the sprint race, where first through to 8th swap positions turns into a reverse grid, which means you get some of those high-skilled drivers trying to fight their way through the pack. That's always great. As we hit that 20-minute mark now, Gus Rules coming up onto the main straight, so he'll go for another flying lap. We'll see how he pans on this one as he crosses the line. Full DRS mode. Here we go. Cars managed to hit about 300 k's an hour by the time they hit the bottom of the straight. Yeah, 310 in fact with the DRS, hard on the brakes, using all of that track on the left to get yourself nicely set up into turns 2 and 3. Pole does get points. Yes, I do believe you are correct. And 2 compounds. Yeah, you get soft and medium. Yeah, that's for official tracks anyway. I do know that you can have super soft on some tracks. I'm not too familiar with the F2 racing. Ooh, use that inside curve, very brave. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the everything about the F2 racing, but yes, I think it's soft and medium most times, but certain tracks give you soft and hard or something. I know it's a lot like it's heavily regulated compared to the F1 series. Obviously, things being spec racing and this and that. But again, like I said before, it always tends to give us closer racing, more tight knit, a lot better battles and stuff, which is a good improvement to Spain, because Spain's usually one of the more boring tracks, or at least in popular opinion. This guy comes across the line now. Ooh, sets a 1:30.8 on the soft compound. Great drive there, manages to up his time by 1.7 seconds, which puts him onto that pole position. So Revo's going to have a bit of work to do. I can't see Revo being too happy with keeping second. Knowing Revo and the driver that he is, he will probably go out one more time, try and beat that. Let's have a look at some of these other drivers. We'll jump on board with Nut as he's coming around turn 3 now. So 3 drivers now. Just have to set a time. With Pacey still tweaking away. Expect to see him. Pacey does have a bit of trouble with the F2 cars. He does seem to have a bit of a challenge on him, but of course he's always up to try and improve. So hopefully we'll see him do a lot better as we go through the season. He gets more and more experience in those cars. So who did we just see go across there? Jacob Meister with a 1:31.7. Not bad. Not bad at all. Puts himself into second there on the soft tyre. So we've still got Nut and Pacey left to do their laps. 17 minutes on the clock. Nut, of course, always seems to make small mistakes, puts him in the worst position, whether it's a penalty here or a crash there. Hopefully we can see something special tonight. I do realise that I've said that, so he's probably going to crash and burn quite hard. As Nut goes across the line with a 1:31.9, putting himself in 4th, drops Impulse down by 1. Impulse now retired, so he's happy with his 1:32.1. The only driver left to make a lap is Pacey, as he's coming across that now. Had to fight the steering wheel a little bit, used too much of the curb. The curbs are very elevated here in Spain, so they tend to throw the car out pretty sideways. 1:31.8 puts him into 4th, so he knocks down Nut by 1, which makes Impulse back down into 6th. So everyone has now set a time, unfortunately, except for Apollo Pepsi, so he will start at the back of the grid with 16 minutes left to go on the clock. And we're still seeing some laps. Let's just try and watch Revo here, because I think Revo's probably going to go for that top spot, using all of the track to his advantage. As he comes across that turn 4. Oh, I've got some lull here. Everybody in the chat, what are your predictions for tonight's race? What do we think? Remember, there are 2 races. There's the feature race and the sprint race. So what do we expect? Do we expect Revo to dominate again? Or do we see maybe someone else picking up that first position? Let me know what you think in the chat. 15 minutes and 18 seconds left to go. There's Revo. Now coming in past that sector 2. Has he beaten his time? Oh my god, he is up on his time by 6 hundredths. Sorry, 6 tenths. 6 tenths of a second. Which is going to put him way further than Gus Rules if he keeps up this momentum. Actually, no, sorry, I've looked at the wrong time. That's going to put him level. A couple of lockups, though, I don't think so. He'll probably be able to beat Jacob, no problem, but will he be able to beat Gus? Yes, he does. A 130.3. 130.3. That is a blistering drive there from the BWT Ardennes. Great job there by Revo. As Jacob Meister retires there. So Gus Rules, Jacob Meister, Nut and Impulse. Apollo Pepsi and Lotus just got disqualified. Okay. Interesting development. So as you can see, the majority of the drivers are now leaving with, of course, 14 minutes to go. So Revo's happy with his time, 130.3. Pacey with a 131.8. Not sure if he's going on one more lap. It doesn't look like it. Ooh, no, he's been that one. Yep, that's into the wall. Crashed out. No problem at all. Flubber now going across the line. So it looks like he's probably going to set one more time. We'll stay on with him and see what he can do. Revo still your pole setter, 130.3. That is a quick time to beat in these F2 spec cars. So we'll see how well Flubber can manage. Coming around turn 3 now. Doing a good job to hold that speed. As he comes under that Pirelli bridge, what are we going to look at? He is up on his time by 2 tenths. So right now, doing a great job. He might be able to move a couple of positions. We'll see how well he can hold on. CK80 leaves the session. Unfortunate. Hopefully he can get back to us. A little bit of a scrub there, so that's going to cost some time. As Flubber makes his way on. Very dangerous inside curb here. Uses it just a little bit. You can see how the car started to slide out. Revo goes across with a 129.7 while I'm talking there, so he extends his lead even further. Ooh, Flubber pushing it way wide there as they come into that hairpin. Let's see what his sector 2 time looks like. He is up by 7 tenths. Flubber doing an amazing job here at the end. 12 minutes 50 to go. Let's see if Flubber can move his way up the board. Hopefully he'll be able to slot in just under Pacey there. If he's got 7 tenths to wipe out, yeah, I would say probably around where Pacey's sitting. Let's have a look. He goes through the chicane a little bit wobbly, but we'll see if he can hold on. 200 kilometers an hour up to 5th. Hits the DRS. Will he shift to 6th before the line? There it is, 130.9, and it puts him into 3rd place. So he splits down Jacob Meister. Great drive from Flubber there. Potsy goes up a little bit too. He just went to the 132.1 there in 8th. Combined Tuber now all the way down to 132.5, and CK80 with the slowest time at the moment with a 133.2, but he isn't in last because Apollo Pepsi, of course, with that early retirement, and Lotus somehow getting disqualified. So a great drive there from Flubber. He should be happy with that. But he's going again, and he's 2 tenths down. God, are we seeing another improvement here? Just started that sector 2. We'll stay on the broadcast camera. See how well he can improve as he comes into here. Just kissing the curb. Moves up into this. Can he hold it? No, he does back off. He knows. He still goes a little bit wide, but it worked for him last time. We'll see if it works for him again. Crosses under that bridge. What are we at? We're up by 3 tenths, so he can still improve again. At this point, he will beat Gus Rules. Let's have a look. He has to try and hold the momentum in the last sections of the track. So a little bit of fighting there with the steering wheel. Here we go, into the last chicane. Using all of the curb there. Managed to hold it well. Very, very easy to unsettle the car. He'll hit the DRS, cross the line. What are we looking at? 130.196. Great drive. That will put him into 2nd place. He'll be happy with that one. Potsy gets across the line with a 130.9. Gets him up into 4th position. Great drive. Combined. Doing doughies in the grass. So he's happy with his 138.485. Just want to point out that he and Jacob Meister qualified with the exact same time So that's pretty whack. Okay, there we are. So all of our drivers have finished. So now we are in preparations for the feature race. Alright, so just to recap, Revo, your pole position leader, 129.7, gets 4 points for his troubles there in the qualifying session. Flubber did a great drive to get 130.1. He puts himself in a second. Gus rules with a 130.8. He's taking up third on the grid, and Potsy takes that last position on the second row with a 130.9. Great drives from everyone. Unfortunate for Apollo Pepsi and Lotus, both at the back of the grid. So the session ends in about 4 seconds. We're going to get started very, very soon. Everybody has to figure out their tyre strategies and sit down and chill and breathe and get focused. True Hero, I'm new here. What on earth is going on? Hey man, how are you going? Hopefully you are enjoying yourself. Basically, we are AFR. We are the Aussie Formula Racing League. And we like to play games like F1. And we have a couple of leagues. Some of the F2 series is more of a fun series. We're just trying to sort of experiment with this type of stuff. I'm good, man. I am good. Thank you for asking. But we do have proper leagues. For example, our Tier 1 and Tier 2, where some of the best drivers in Australia and New Zealand to get together to compete. Tier 2 is more for the up-and-comers to try and prove their worth, see where they go, and then if they do really well on the Tier 2, they'll move up onto the Tier 1. If you're interested in driving, you can always join our Discord. We are always looking for new drivers to join us. Okay, so the session starts in about 25 seconds. Of course, it is F2, so we will have the feature race and then the sprint race right after. We should be in for some good racing action, hopefully. F2 always seems to bring us pretty good. So, I mean, I don't even have a wheel. Neither do I. Actually, a lot of our guys don't have a wheel. You can be pretty competitive with a controller. It just takes practice. So, a lot of the guys in our Tier 2 do race with a controller. There's a couple of guys here racing in F2 tonight with a controller. So, don't think that just because you don't have a wheel doesn't mean you can't race. You most certainly can. You might be a little bit more behind some of the other drivers, but still, you can always improve. Okay, so we are kicking off with the formation lap here. As Revo makes his way at the front of the grid, everyone just trying to get temperature in those tyres, work up the grip, get a couple of lock-ups. Spain, of course, infamous for that first corner. It's about 170 meters, I think, to that first corner, so it tends to get it pretty hectic. You're probably going to see 3 wide going into there. I'll try my best to follow the action for you. On a Motorsport Manager. Yeah, I've actually got a couple of friends who prefer the Motorsport Manager. Massive motorsport fans, but they prefer to get into the analytics more than the racing, and that's perfectly respectable, man. Each to their own. So hopefully you can sit back and relax and enjoy some of the F2 action that we're going to bring to you, especially with Revo in the lobby. Guy proves himself every single week in, week out, man. He what a great driver. Really puts the time in and it shows. The guy just practices like crazy and he manages to get the results. So 19 laps here for this feature race. Looks like I'm going to be casting this whole thing by myself. That's okay. Yeah, I have massive respect for these sim races, man. If you're going to dedicate yourself to the craft, props to you. That's why I commentate, because I too am garbage. So I do the broadcasting and I let the races who are good give us the entertainment. Okay, so they are moving around that final corner now. Everybody's just going to reform up on the grid. We should be in for a pretty good race, hopefully. Lines up on the grid for Catalunya. All right. Now we're just waiting for everybody to settle in. Those lights will kick off and we'll be on our way. Now we've just got to wait for the lights to count down. Here we go. 5 lights on. Just waiting for them to turn off so we can kick off. There they go. Smoke has arisen, which means the grid is off. when Revo is making his way down to that first corner. Looks like we've got a couple of different position changes. No chaos yet. Everybody falling into a pretty good line as we make our way through that first corner. Let's just have a quick look at the back of the grid. There's one person out. It looks like Lotus has put himself into the wall. A little bit of damage. I can see some wing damage there. Unfortunate for him, so he'll have to try and recoup. Alright, so we've already got one small accident, but it hasn't put him out of the race, so he'll be able to recover, hopefully. As the rest of the grid make their way down. Revo with a pretty large lockup. Combined getting the overtake there. Combined and Flubber having a pretty good race here. They seem to be switching positions fairly often. We are on with Flubber right now as Nut gets a nice little overtake there, but Combined gets pushed way to the side. So he'll have to rejoin. It's going to be pretty dangerous. They are side by side right now. Nope, he falls back in line. So now they're all moving through. Pacey there. Look at him. He's managed to break out. Combine's just on the side of him. These guys are side by side as they move into the hairpin. We're seeing some pretty good battles here at the back. Oh, Pacey with a great little overtake there on Combined YouTuber. Bandcamp having to fall behind. Let's jump on board with him. I've decided that no, I want Nut and Combined to do good. Let me let you in a little secret here. Every single race I want Nut to do good, and he manages to crash horribly. Or gather like 40 seconds in penalties. So it's better you just rip that band-aid off now. Combined, not so much. He seems to go alright. Okay, so lap 2 now of this 19-lap race. Revo still in the lead. 0.3 is the gap there. Pacey doing a great job, holds his position. Combined just got the overtake on turn 1. Pacey took it back on turn 2. So now they move into turn 3, and he is way ahead. Look at Combined and Bandcamp side by side there. Combined's going to go up on the outside, but Band's going to have a pretty good setup as he comes in to the next corner. But he backs off just a little bit. So he'll hold his own as they move into that line. Pacey still in front. We're seeing some pretty good gaps happen so far. So Revo with a 0.7 gap to the lead. Potsy 0.5 behind Gus Rules. Jacob with a 0.3 gap as well. Pacey and Combined looks to be the closest so far. Impulse 0.3 behind CK80. So still a pretty good grid as they make their way down. Let's see, will he be able to hold it flat? No, he doesn't. He does back off. That corner is unforgiving at the best of times. As we jump on with Combined, he is very, very close to the back of Pacey there. Will he be able to make a move as they come onto that straight? Now, of course, lap 3 is where DRS gets activated, and that's where all the stuff starts to kick off. So we will start to see some more intense action. Revo setting a fastest lap there, 1:33.0. Good job from the Ardennes. DRS has now been enabled, so here is where the action starts. Sector 3 yellow flag, which means it's going to be one of these guys. It looks like Impulse did manage to go off the track a little bit. Alright, let's jump up the field a bit more. Combined very, very close to the back of Bandcamp there, which means Bandcamp managed to get an overtake as they went down the main straight. Oh, using too much of the curb. He's got to fight it. He's drifting. He managed to hold it, though. Props to Combined. He did hold the drift. When you start to break that traction, it does usually mean disaster, but mad respect to him. CK80 trying to get a little bit of an overtake there. Gets cut off, though. The door gets shut. CK80 has to pull back behind. Let's have a quick update on these intervals. Potsy very, very close to Gus Rules. We might just jump up with him. Let's have a look at the Virtuosi driver. He's going to try and chase down Gus Rules in the DRS zone. Now coming up to that hairpin. Gus getting a little bit of a lockup. That's going to scrub some time, so that's going to give Potsy a little bit of advantage as we move into the later half, into Sector 3. Do I control the camera? Yes, I do. I control every aspect of the broadcast. So I try my best to focus on the interesting stuff as Jacob Meister has gone off the track there. So he's going to lose a ton of positions. He's going all the way down into 12th. It looks like CK80 might even overtake. No, CK80 went off as well. So 2 drivers in a mix-up there. Unfortunate for them. Let's jump back on board with Potsy as he just completed an overtake. He moves into turn 1, lap 4 of 19. Gus Rules now behind. as Revo has just shot away. 3.6 the gap between him and second place. I'd want to say I'm surprised, but I am not. Can I replace David Coulthard for F1 commentary? Two things. One, no. And two, why would I want to? David Coulthard is one of the biggest insights in the F1 community, and his voice is amazing. Also, just like 2A, that chin. Just saying. Okay, so Jacob Meister has to go into the pits. He'll have to repair the damage as he went off that track. Revo now 4 seconds ahead. He's absolutely smashing this race here in Spain. Gus Rules trying his best to try and catch up to Potty. He'll come around this corner and activate DRS. He's well within the gap. Will he be able to climb up before he gets to that main straight? Not now 0.8 behind Flubber. Combined YouTuber 0.6. We're seeing some incredible gaps opening. You can see from 9th to 12th, we've got 4 seconds each. CK80 holding it together. Low to 7.1 seconds. Unfortunate for him, he did have that early off, and he hasn't been able to claw it back. Jacob Meister, 28 seconds. That pit, F2 pits are usually something like 8 seconds apiece. And so it is pretty costly when you do it on here. And not only that, but he swapped onto the soft tyre, so I don't see that lasting all the way to lap 19 too well. But anyway, we'll see. Gus goes a little bit wide, so he's not going to be able to catch Potsy, and he does go outside the DRS zone towards the end, so it's a little bit wasted. Nut, here we go, up on the outside of Flubber. He'll go on the inside of turn 1. Will he get it clean? It looks pretty good. No, he goes way wide. He's going to have to take the shortcut route, which is going to give Flubber a little bit of an advantage, because he's going to have more traction. But Nut manages to stay ahead. Ooh, a little bit controversial there. We'll have to see how that goes. Flubber now goes on the inside as he will make the overtake onto turn 4. Does he? Yes, he does. But he's just got to hold it well on the inside because Nut's going to have the outside line. Good job there by Flubber. So he will take that 4th position. Nut has no choice but to fall in line. So he'll obviously look for the next DRS zone to try and take that advantage back. Pacey 2.2 seconds behind Nut. Bandcamp 3 seconds behind him combined. Getting closer and closer. Let's just jump down and have a look at that battle as they move into the DRS corner. Just staying off that. Goes a little bit wide. Get a little bit of a rubber band. As he's now trying to encroach on the outside. Not a great move though, because it increases your track length by a severe amount. But Bandcamp does get the lock up, so he's going to scrub some speed. Combined, however, still stuck behind. He'll be in 8th. Let's see, Nut and Gus Rules, both 0.5 behind their current rivals as they move in. Just keep monitoring that interval. We've got a Sector 1 yellow flag. It's going to be something to do with Potsy or Gus Rules. He's going to try and go up on the inside, but he can't. He'll have to fall back. Potsy does go way wide, though. He's past that, so he's going to lose some grip. Looks like Gus might be able to get in. Oh, no. He had a little bit of a wrestle as well. So unfortunate for him. He'll try and now chase down Potsy again. Flubber behind him on the hard tyre, 2.1 seconds. And Nuts, 0.7 behind him. Combined, still at the back there, trying to fight with Band. 0.5 is the gap. He's holding on pretty well. Everyone else, man, these gaps are huge. Flubber 1.9 behind Gus. Pacey 2 seconds behind Nut. Bandcamp 3.8 behind him. And, again, just an update on the leader. Revo still in the lead, and he's 5 seconds ahead. So he is just increasing his lead lap by lap. Absolute excellent drive here from the BWT team. Oof, hard on the brakes. You saw Potsy lock up as well as Gus. Gus not as bad, but he still bled a lot of speed. Apollo Pepsi gets the overtake there on the back on Wahid, so he'll move up into 9th. Great job there. Here we are, coming into the latter half of the track, lap 6. See if Gus Rules can make a move onto that straight. Potsy will go into the pit lane. So Gus will get the position automatically. Good job from him. We'll move down a couple of positions. How many people are going into the pits? Potsy goes in. Revo goes in as well. Nut also went in. We've got Bandcamp and Combined both going in. So Gus Rules is going to try his luck. See if he can get the overcut. Not too sure about that one though. Overcut doesn't seem to work very well with the F2 grid. But we'll see. Combined with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oof, unlucky. There's always one every single race. Alright, let's jump on board with Pacey. as he's now in third. 6 laps on that soft tyre. So we see Flubber with the hard compound. He's probably going to go for the long stint, try and replace those tyres later on. See how well he can make that. 1.4 seconds behind the leader he is. Gus still holding on, but he'll have to pit sooner or later, because once Revo comes out, which he has in 6th as well, he'll be able to chase up those grid positions very quickly. So Gus will have to make a choice sooner rather than later. All the gaps have blown out now. Revo's even 1.6 behind Impulse. Popsy 3.7 behind him. Nut 2.8. Bandcamp 5.6. Combined YouTuber 14 seconds. And Lotus, not sure if it's a glitch or not, but he is now 1 minute behind everyone. So it's a very unfortunate race for him. Some serious troubles happening. So maybe he can make it back in the sprint race. We'll have to wait and find out. Okay, we're going to go back down the grid as Revo, fresh on those hard tyres. He's going to be on the hunt. So he's got to make it back through the rest of the grid. Gus Rules bites the bullet. He now pits. So the question will be, will he be able to exit in front of Revo? I don't think so. But Impulse is doing quite a good job here to hold him up. So let's just have a quick look here. Gus is making his way out of the pits now. No, he's still going in. So he's replacing now. Revo's coming up onto that straight. He won't be able to exit in any shape or form in front. So Revo will take the lead back. Oh, sorry, he'll pass Gus Rules, who was the leader. Now he's in third. Flubber still and Wahid still staying out because they're on the hard compound, so they won't pit anytime soon. They're going to go for the long stint. But knowing Revo and his ability, 7.4 seconds, he'll make that up. And Wahid and Flubber, or I hope they can make as many seconds as possible, because once they go into pit, they're going to be in prime overtake territory. So Revo doing a great job so far. Let's jump back down. Gus Rules exits the pits. He's 0.8 behind Potsy. So he'll have to try and catch up. He does have fresher tyres, but only by 1 lap. So is it that much, especially when it's on the hard compound? I don't think so. So we might see a stationary position here. CK80 gets the overtake on Jacob Meister as Jacob Meister goes into the pits for a second time. Really going to affect his race. Lotus might even be able to catch up as he goes onto the hard tyre. So now everybody on the grid, hard tyre. We have 3 people so far who started off on the hard compound 7 laps in. So they'll have to pit. They'll obviously go for the soft compound to try and finish the stint. But the question will be whether or not they can make up the time on the track right now, so that when they go into the pits, they can make up the difference. I don't think that will be the case, especially for Impulse. I think Impulse will drop quite a fair amount of positions once he decides to bite the bullet, but we'll have a look. We'll monitor the situation carefully and see how it goes. Lap 9 of 19. Flubber still in the lead now with a 21-second gap, so not bad, I have to say. He's doing a good job so far. Revo, though, look at that. It was 7 seconds. I mean, just a moment ago, and it's now 4.9. He is climbing like crazy. We jump on board with Gus Rules. Will he be able to catch Potsy by the end of it? I don't think so, but he did make up quite a lot of time. He's Potsy, but a lot of speed going into that. He uses the curb. It gets the car unsettled. Gus is now trying to find a position to sit. And we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. The DRS zones will come in handy for him, trying to make up that gap. 0.3, very achievable. As Potsy is now 0.6 behind Impulse. And we can see that Impulse is starting to hold up these guys. They are much faster. Ooh, a little bit of contact there as Gus Rules tries to go up on the inside. He will successfully do so, however. Potsy with no choice but to back off. But of course, this is now going to mean that when they go into the detection zone for the next DRS, that Potsy is going to have the advantage. Having said that, of course, Gus Rules will have DRS on Impulse, so I guess it'll be pretty even the whole way down. But will we see an overtake? I think we will. Gus will go up on the inside of the corner, but it is a hairpin turn, so he's got to be careful. Massive lockup as Impulse has to give room. Look at Potsy as well. He takes it, but no Impulse. He gets spun just a little bit, loses that traction as both cars overtook there on the hairpin. Unfortunate for Impulse. He drops down by 2.7, and it also means that Pacey's climbing up fairly quickly. He'll be in prime position to take that 6th spot. Potsy 3.9. Let's just quickly jump up there. Let's have a look. Ooh, as we jump on board with him, just wrestling. He's going to go into that DRS zone. Will he be able to catch Gus Rules by the end of it? I don't think so. Gus a little bit too fast going down here. 5.9 the gap between Gus and Revo. Revo makes the gap even closer. He's now to 3.3, was 4.9 a while ago. So he's catching Wahid pretty damn well. Flubber still 23 seconds ahead, so he's got a pretty good lead. Pacey now 0.5. We'll jump back down 2 positions as we try to watch him overtake Impulse there. Impulse seems to be having a little bit of trouble trying to hold on to that F2 car. It does a pretty consistent drive in the Tier 2, but seems to be having a little bit of issues here with this F2 car at Catalunya. Pacey taking the wide angle, doing a little bit of a gardening on the side. So the 2 closest gaps so far is Potsy in 5th. He's 0.7 behind Gus Rules. Pacey 0.2. You're watching that right now. Trying to catch up to Impulse. Now they're going to move up onto that DRS wide. Here we go. He goes down one. He uses a nice bit of curb. He straightens out the car a lot better than Impulse. He gets that DRS. He will be way ahead. And Impulse has no choice but to slot into the back. Ooh, massive lock up there from Pacey. Great drive from these two. Impulse holding it out. Of course, he will be feeling the brunt as they get closer and closer to that last lap. Those tyres not great on the Spain circuit. Got a Sector 2 yellow flag. Looks like combined, get a little bit off the side there. Just have an update. No, everybody seems to be doing so far. Potsy, he's trying to go up on the outside of Gus Rules, but he won't make it before turn 1, so he's going to have to hold on. That inside curb, look at it. It just unsettles the car. Gus having to wrestle that steering wheel, which has given Potsy a little bit of an advantage. He's going to go up on the outside. Gus shuts the door, so Potsy's going to have to try and go up on the inside of this turn 4. No, he plays it safe. Just slots right behind that car. So great job by him, because he knows he still has 8 laps to go. And they're both on the same amount of tyres. Gus Rules does have 1 lap advantage, but it's not really that much when you think about the hard compound. So Potsy just has to bide his time. Of course, he'll have the DRS advantages going into the next one because Gus Rules 7.4 seconds behind Revo. So there's no way he's going to get DRS advantage anytime soon. Revo has managed to make the gap to 0.5. Look at him climb as they approach lap 12. So of course, Flubber still has to bite the bullet. You still have to do your compulsory pit stop, even in F2. So him, Flubber and Wahid will still have to pit, as well as Impulse, of course. Everyone else have already done so. Jacob doing it twice. Unfortunate for him. So Revo is going to try and catch up. Potsy trying to do that as well. We'll jump on board with Revo, however, because that's where the massive action is going to be. So he'll hit the DRS. He'll have such a speed boost going down here, about 10 to 15 kph. He'll go up onto the right side of Wahid, and he'll have an absolute clear shot as they move into turn 1. Look at him go. Goes right, then left, using all of the track. Great drive from him. Now we'll jump back on to Potsy, who's got the DRS. He's going to try and go up on the outside. Gus positions his car dead center of the track. Absolutely great defending, something you usually see from Band. But Gus has managed to do it quite well as well. He puts himself in the middle of the track, so he only did 1 defensive move, but he locks up the entire field. So Potsy has to make a decision. He tries to go up on the outside, which is the worst spot to try and overtake on turn 1. So a great move there from Gus to hold on his position, but he's scrubbing too much speed as he comes through turn 4. So Potsy right now seems to be on the advantage. Gus Rules with another lockup. So all of this is just bleeding seconds, bleeding speed, and Potsy is just waiting for that one moment where Gus makes a mistake that's just a little bit too much, and he'll try and capitalize. Lap 12 of 19. So we're almost at the end of the race now. Here we go into that DRS zone. 0.5 is the gap. Up towards that 100-meter board. Hitting the brakes hard. See, Gus Rules. He's just locking up on that hairpin. Potsy seems to have it under control. Apollo Pepsi with a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunate. So Nut at the back there. He's getting awfully close to the back of Combine. We'll keep an eye on that one, because that might turn into something as they come into the DRS zone. Have a look at this. Fastest lap. Revo with a 1:32.6 on the hard compound. Revo doing everything he possibly can to try and make up that initial position. Pacey with a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunate. Flubber is 26 seconds ahead, but he has to pit. So this is a fairly long pit lane. You have an 8-second pit time. So it's going to be pretty touch and go when Flubber decides to pull the pin. I don't know when he'll do it, but he's got to do it soon, because otherwise River's going to bring that time further and further down, and the advantage will go away. So it'll be that'll be the one to watch. 0.2 the gap now between Potsy and Gus Rules. Potsy doing a great job trying to make it forward. Just more and more lockers coming from Gus Rules. We got a little bit of one from Potsy there, however. So it looks like he went a little bit wide. Nut gaps goes up to 1.2. So we're seeing a little bit of a disadvantage here. Looks like Nut lagged a little bit behind. Potsy's going to try and do his best in this DRS zone. So around the hairpin. 0.3. Bloody hell, that camera was so bright. See Potsy trying to hold the same line. Gus Rules doing all the work. He's punching a hole in the air, which is causing Pacey to make his way through. A little bit of an update here. Impulse is coming through there. He loses a little bit of speed, however. Something has gone wrong for him. We see a Sector 3. Someone has spun. Looks like Potsy on the main straight. Of course it's when I swap the camera. So he must have gone for a move on Gus Rules. That must have backfired. Potsy now 7th. It's a pretty harsh hit there. As Flubber went into the pits, he's come out on the soft tyre. He's now 3 seconds behind Revo. So this is going to be the battle to watch. Lap 14. So we've got 5 laps to go. Will Flubber, on the soft tyre, fresh tyre, manage to make up that 3-second gap to Revo? I want to believe. I want to say that he uses that center helmet, channels the spirit, and makes it. But I know how Revo drives, and I just don't think that's going to happen, but we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Let's go down the grid. Let's see what's happening at the back. It's Nut 1.7 now behind combined. Combined doing a pretty good job holding it in 8th there. So CK80, 5 seconds behind Apollo Pepsi. Jacob Meister manages to bring it a little bit back. Which is the last points paying position? I believe it's still 10th, isn't it? I think it's still 10th. Maybe it's 8th. Man, I really should look that up. I think it's 10th though. I think it's the same as F1. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'll be honest. I put way too much focus on F1. I should really do my research so I can have better answers for you guys. So Wahid 0.6 behind Potsy. He's doing a pretty good job because a little bit wide there. Potsy, of course, having that having a little bit of an accident last couple of laps. Wahid's going to have the DRS, but it's not going to give him any sort of advantage. The gap stays the same. Comes down to 0.7. Oof. Much late breaker there from Wahid, so he will make up the time. Ooh. Potsy having to wrestle it. Man, you see that twitch. You see the car twitch when it hits that inside curve. The problem is, because it's so raised, and as your tyres degrade, you hit that inside curve, and then you want to put the power down, but if you put the power down, you've got too much traction loss, and then that'll kick you out, and then because you've gone on the curb, your wheels are uneven, so you're not going to have even contact on the surface. It's crazy. These F2 cars, they handle like absolute pigs, but if you're good at it, you're good at it. Wahid getting to 0.096 there, but Potsy closing the door. So Wahid will probably have an advantage coming into this next DRS zone. Lap 15 of 19. The race is almost over. We've only got 4 laps to go. And Flubber sets the fastest lap. 1:31.2. Not surprising on the fresh tyres. And he's brought the gap down to 1 second. So Revo's going to have to pull everything that he can to hold him back. Oh, Potsy goes sideways. Wahid's going to try and make it up now. Potsy going a little bit wide. Wahid not doing any better. Look at the tail. Absolute tank slapper. He's trying to hold on to that. Could it be tyre degradation? 8 laps on the hard compound. I know the hard compound isn't that great around this circuit. So it could be. Potsy using a lot of the curve. It's very slippery. So here comes Wahid. He's going to try and make a move. I don't think he's going to make it any time, though. It's going to have to be a pretty quick one. Will he be able to get it on the outside? That is brave. But he does it. Absolute respect. Wahid gets a great overtake there on the outside of turn 1. Potsy's going to try and use all of the track to try and make that position again. 0.5 the gap now between them. Revo gets overtaken. Okay, so we're going to pay a little bit more attention here to the front, because Flubber absolutely flew through that chicane there. And I'm surprised he didn't lose control. But again, fresh softs, you're going to have most of that grip. So the question will be, can Revo hold on? 9 laps on the hard compound. I mean, his saving grace will be if the soft compound gives up before lap 19. I tell you what though, have a look at this bloody camera. Great move by Revo, but he lost that braking point. Braked a little bit too late, locked up. He is still in front, but he got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So Flubber's pretty much got this in the bag. All he has to do is hold on. God, I tell you what, this isn't something you see every day. Revo, a lot of pressure being put on him from Flubber. Great race between these two. And that corner cut, that's probably cost Revo that first position. But knowing Revo, he's going to try and fight it. It's a safe bet to say he won't be making that 3-second gap. So unless Flubber gets hit with a 3-second time penalty as well, it's pretty much in the bag for him. Revo doing an amazing job to keep up though. Look at this. Using everything that he can. Using the DRS. Using those apexes. Keeping the car straight. Flubber seems to have a little bit of a twitchy handling system here. Revo doing a great job. However, if you have a look at that interval, it is creeping up. It's now 0.5 as they move their way onto the main straight. A little bit of a lock up there. Oof. Almost grinded that chicane there. Here we go. So the DRS zone, which means Revo will have a speed advantage. The problem is, if he goes too deep, you end up braking too late, which caused him to hook corner car the last time. So Revo looks like he's just going to hold on to it. What a move. But there it is. It's another late break. He has to... And Flubber, I don't know, maybe didn't quite see him there. And they turn into each other. Contact. Revo manages to avoid another 3-second time penalty. Slowed down enough to get the clock not to show. Flubber now 0.6 ahead. Revo's trying everything he can to try and get ahead, but you can see that the pressure's mounting more and more. The DRS is enough to get him to that end, but then how you got to stop the car? The car has to stop. You can't just turn at 310 kilometers an hour, and it's catching Revo out. I mean, it's great to see from a competitive perspective. Flubber really putting the wheels down. This is great. This is great racing. The question is, will we see Flubber race in Tier 1? I vote we should. Impulse retires from the session. Something's happened at the back. Let's have a look. Can we see Impulse's car at all? Yep, he's just going to retire there. So it looks like he's had enough. No damage or anything. Just happened to retire. No problem. Sector 1, Sector 3, yellow flag. Not sure what's going on there, but... I do know what's going on there. That'll be Impulse's car trying to get off the track. So Revo is now 1.9 behind. It looks like the hard tyres are giving up and the softs aren't. So great drive from Revo, but he does have a 3-second time penalty. So he'll have to be happy with that second position. I have to admit, Flubber, great job, sir. You are driving the pants off that car. Channeling the spirit of Senna through that helmet. Giving us an absolute fantastic show. Which means, of course, he'll start in 8th position for the sprint race. We'll see how well he can climb through the grid. I'll leave those two alone. Let's just jump back. Jacob Meister and CK80 overtaking each other. CK80 has now left the session. Alright, not sure what's going on there, but we'll catch up with that. Back in 8th position, we're seeing that massive gaps now. Have a look at this. Wahi 2.7 behind Bandcamp. Potsy 2.5. Combined YouTuber 2.6. Nut is 5 seconds. Apollo's 25. So once you start to get into the nuts and bolts of it all, gaps just they're just massive. Mind beating himself there by 1/100th. So we will jump on board with Flubber for this last part of the lap. A great drive from the newcomer to put that car on pole position. Great battling there with Revo. Revo trying everything he could. It's just so unfortunate because late braking didn't quite work out, and it gives Flubber the win, so he'll be your race winner. Feature race winner at that. As he crosses the line, Revo with second position. A great drive from both of them as Gus Rules will make his way past the latter half. He's coming across the line now. So third position on the podium goes to Gus Rules as everyone else is now making their way out onto the track. Let's have a look here at Apollo Pepsi and CK80 though, because CK80's AI just flew past Apollo. Jacob Meister now within contention. So CK80 just joined. We'll have a look and see if he jumps back in. Not sure if he will, but his car's in the lead right now. Apollo Pepsi slows down just enough. Jacob Meister takes it up on the inside. Great job there on the DRS corner. So CK80 ends up finishing in 12th. Something going on there with the time boards, but that's okay. So Apollo Pepsi looks like he'll finish in 11th. Jacob Meister's trying to get past the AI there. CK. So a pretty decent race. We had some good battles there, but props of a drive to Flubber. He stayed out on the hard compound and he made the gap. He called it in the picture just at the right time. He came out with about 3 seconds to go. Fresh, soft tyres. And he's absolutely used them to full effectiveness. And there it is. And Revo, of course, making that forced error, giving himself 3 seconds. And that was sort of the end of it when it hit that. He tried to make another overtake attempt again. The same thing happened. Managed to avoid a second penalty. But a great drive nonetheless. Great drive from all our drivers for this feature race. But congratulations to Flubber. Great showing there. He'll be happy to take his first race, and he takes number 1 on the podium. Gotta be happy with that. Again, just to reiterate, an excellent drive here from all of our racers as they celebrate there. And of course, we still have the sprint race to go, so reverse grid. Throw monkey wrench and everything. We'll see how that pans out for all of our drivers. Okay. So 27 points there for Flubber. Revo will take 18. Gus Rules with 15. Good race from everyone. Unfortunate there for Impulse. He did DNF. He retired just near the end of the race. So now it'll be everyone's second chance as we move into the sprint. So Flubber will take 8th position and combined YouTuber will start on pole. We'll see how that throws into the mix as the next session is getting ready to start now. We'll just have to wait for everybody to do their setups. Oh, sorry, not their setups, it's the spec race. I'm sorry, T-Mac, where did you come from? Okay, so it looks like we'll be seeing T-Mac in the sprint race, which means he'll start at the back. Better late than never, I guess. All the drivers starting to ready up now, 20 seconds on the board. So we tend to see the sprint race have a lot more carnage, especially on that first turn. Can't wait to see how that pans out. 5 seconds to go. Alright, so second formation lap as they go to start the sprint race. 13 laps instead of 19 now. And we are combined YouTuber on pole. Potsy in second. Wahid and Bandcamp third and fourth. Pacey fifth. Gus Rules sixth. Revo seventh. And Flubber, who is our feature race winner, he starts in 8th position. So he'll have a lot of the grid to climb up through. But I mean, judging by that performance we saw in the first race, I think it's going to be very hard for him. There's T-Mac at the back joining us. Like I said, better late than never. Let's get this set up. I always forget to do this. There we go. Now we've got our intervals and tyre changes. Now, of course, in a sprint race, you do... What happened there? Apollo Pepsi gets punted off the course in the formation lap. Not a great start. Yeah, like I was saying, you don't need to change your tyre in the sprint race. So, yeah, you just go all the way. So it'll just be pure racing now. No real pit strategies. We'll see how that all works. Be very careful with how you warm up the tyres, because you go a little bit too much either way and your car goes off the track. We saw that happen with Apollo just before. Lucky for him, it's the formation lap. CK80's left the session. Ooh, hopefully he'll be able to rejoin soon. So what do we got? Here we go. Alright, everybody's starting to line up on the grid now. Okie dokie. CK80 joins just in the nick of time, so he should be there for the... Yep, there's his car. Should be there for the restart. Okay, so the lights are starting to get ready. Here we go. 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's just waiting for them to turn off. Come on, Marshall, man. Let's go. There it is. Okay, away we go. Here comes the sprint race start. Lap 1 of 13. Oh my god, there's massive carnage already. Lotus is out. Impulse gets caught up at the back as well. So does Apollo Pepsi. Impulse leaves the session. The car is sideways. My god, we're mirroring Scotty McLaughlin here at the Gold Coast. The car was sideways. Oof. World's most expensive lawn ornament. Okay, so combined YouTuber still in front. 0.4 is the gap between him and Potsy. Everyone seems to maintain their positions now. An unfortunate race for Lotus, Apollo and Impulse. God. Must have been a pretty crazy start. Didn't quite catch all of it, but saw the aftermath, and that's all I needed to see. Combined. It's getting up closer to the back of Potsy. As Potsy gets a sneaky little overtake. Bandcamp and Gus Rules, 2 teammates, having a bit of a biff. Elbows out. In it to win it, so to speak. Revo 0.2 behind. Looks like Nuts getting a really good overtake here. Let's jump on board with Revo in the middle of it all. 7th position. Look at Nut trying to go really deep on the inside. Oh no, there's a little bit of a spin out now. Wahid loses a little bit of wing. He clips with his teammate now. He's drifting around all over the place. He's just lost 4 positions. Nut got pushed all the way down into 12th. Ah, man. This is what the sprint race brings us. Everybody's trying so hard to get ahead of the pack. You tend to see all these little tiny mistakes. So we definitely know that Wahid's got a broken wing. Potsy going across with a 138.4. Oh god, unfortunate for him. Nut got caught up with it as well. He tried to go brake so late. He ended up colliding with Wahid, both of them going a little bit off. You can still see the remnants there of Lotus's car on the side of the track. Alright, let's go up a little bit on the grid. CK80, very, very close to T-Mac there. Flubber. Awfully close to Pacey as well. Look at that little train happening just in front. Revo going for the inside on turn 4. He's holding the speed well. He does manage to make it across Gus. So he's split up those 2 teammates. Gus is trying to go up on the inside. This is very, very rough. He's so lucky not to have taken out Revo there, because the car just shot right. Luckily nobody comes out with damage. Bandcamp goes a little bit too wide. Revo's going to have a great shot here. Look at that slingshot right into that DRS corner. No DRS yet, though. It's still only lap 2. We've still got 1 lap to go. Riva gets a little bit sideways, but he holds on to it. Bandcamp now getting chased down by his teammate. Oh, he goes for the late break, and it looks like Thanks, broadcast. There we go. On board. So, Gus Rules gets a little overtake. He takes 4th position. Bandcamp has no choice but to follow back. Flubber is making his way up there as well. Pacey doing a great job to keep on the back of him. Jacob Meister, very, very close to Wahid. Wahid 1.6 behind Pacey right now. We've got a Sector 1 yellow flag. Oh no! Combined YouTuber loses it. Ooh, just touching the wall. God, that's a really bad and dangerous rejoin. His car just got reset. Revo with a 133. DRS is now enabled. Impulse at the back there. Is he in? It looks like it. Oh, fair enough. Let's jump on board with Jacob Meister as he tries to go up on the outside of Wahid. Wahid using all of the curb, but it looks like it's slowed him down. Here we go, side by side. Over on the outside. Jacob will get the overtake, I think, but Wahid might have an advantage on the inside. Nope. Nope, he has to fall back. So Jacob, great little job there. He gets into 7th. Flubber takes the overtake on Bandcamp as well. So now he's splitting the 2 teammates between Gus and Van. Lap 3 of 13. Lotus. Who took Apollo and myself out at the start? I didn't get a great look at it. However, if I had to guess, Impulse was the only other car with you two. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury. I'm not the executioner. But it was you, Apollo Pepsi, and Impulse. Sector 2 yellow flag. Combined. Awfully close to the back of that. Back of Wahid there. We're seeing some pretty good gaps. T-Mac 0.4 behind. 0.2 behind now. He's doing a great job here. Out through the chicane. He holds this speed. Oh my god, combined. Shooting to the right like a slingshot. Managed to hold the car though. These F2 cars, they are so good to watch because you have to wrestle with them all the time. Apollo and Lotus had already no surprise there. Before the start line, mate. And not only that, but Lotus's car was sideways. Scotty McLaughlin, Gold Coast, that. The only thing was he still had all 4 wheels. Here we go, lap 14. Nut, what an amazing overtake. Unfortunately, didn't catch it on the broadcast camera. Combine gets an overtake there on Wahid as well. Good job. See some great drives here coming out of the sprint race. Maybe he should turn traction control back on. It's a bit harsh. A great little train here, 9th to 11th, sorry. As you can see, everybody trying to make it up. Just going to switch off a little bit. Let's jump on board with Flubber. He'll be chasing down Gus Rules. He won't be able to make it on the hairpin. But see, Flubber plays it safe. So he knows that if he goes for a late dive, obviously he's going to be on a disadvantage. He'll probably collide into Gus Rules and it's just going to ruin his race. So he takes a slow approach. He just makes up the time difference with DRS, puts himself into a good position, and then if he can hold close enough to Gus Rules, he's just going to make it up again on the next DRS down the straight. And, I mean, have a look right now. He's 0.5. Easily catchable. Of course, hopefully he doesn't do a revo and break so late. He ends up into the... Ooh, but he's in the gravel. That's going to strip some time. It's going to push it up to about 0.6. There it is. Will he be able to make it up again? Sector 3, yellow flag. Looks like somebody's gone off. Alright, so how much speed does Flubber want to keep? Just enough. Decent line there. So brave to use that. You see how he had to fight the steering wheel. I'm telling you, that is so insane trying to keep that. I don't know how they do it, I can't. That's for sure. But then again, I'm not racing. Let's jump back a little bit. So Pacey now 7 seconds. He dropped quite a little bit. T-Mac on the inside. Wow, he goes a little bit too wide. So T-Mac's probably going to have the advantage here on the inside. No, he plays it safe. I see what he did. Wow, he goes way too far on the outside of that track, so he'll take up that position. Thank you very much. Wahid comes back, though, and trades again. Great little battle here from Wahid and T-Mac. Good positioning. T-Mac now settling in 10th. 0.2 the gap between him and Wahid. Oh, no. Let's have a look here. Potsy is spun. I'm sorry, what? Hold on. He was just sideways on the track. Now he's in the lead. Yeah, the rubber banding probably explains it. Okay. So Uni Virtuoso breaking out the warp drive for the sprint race. Yeah, it's good. I guess we're seeing 2021 regulations a little bit early. That's all cool. Revo, 0.9 behind him. Sector 3 yellow flag. Teammate gets an overtake on Wahid because Wahid is now the wrong way. He gets... Oh, no way. He gets collided to by his teammate, who's now got a broken wing. Drama. Okay, so Pacey in 9th. What the hell was that? Wahid now retired from the race. Pacey with damage. Nut gets the overtake and combine, so good to you, sir. Keep that going. Man. Yeah, the fans always cheer. Flubber with a great little overtake here onto the side of Gus Rules. Oh, great overtake into the DRS zone. And of course, because he did that through the detection zone, he has DRS on the other side of it. Great little move there. Gus Rules with a little bit more speed coming into that hairpin. You can see when they exit these corners that these F2 cars just want to light up so quickly. Look at it! Losing a little bit of traction there, having to wrestle the steering wheel left and right. Gus doing a great job to do so. Off using all of the curve there. So as they come onto that main straight, we'll have a look how much he can make up here. Gus will have DRS. Let's have a look. Gap is 0.6. Usually you can bring it down to about 0.4. Oh, he's got to pull up. He's got to pull up. Locking up the brakes. Making sure he doesn't go way too wide. So Gus doing a good job to hold third there. There's Flubber. He's doing everything he can to try and clamber down the gap between himself and Revo. Another thing to point out too is, if I switch to Potsy here, it says he's in 13th. Oi, Codemasters. What do? So we are on lap 7 of 13. We just ticked over the halfway mark now. Jacob Meister 0.7 behind Bandcamp. He's trying his best to get 4th position. Combined YouTuber, 1 second. Behind Nut. Ooh, a little bit of yawn there. Whew. It's getting late in the night. Okay, so... Oh, someone goes way wide. It looks like it's Pate. Oh my god. It was Potsy there. He got caught way too far off the track. Something is going on with him. We'll have to try and find out afterwards. Jacob now trying to catch up with Bandcamp. Like I mentioned earlier in the night, Bandcamp does get a little bit testy with these F2 cars. Trying his best to wrestle them down, but seems to get away from him sometimes. Here we go, combined YouTuber doing his absolute best to try and catch up. 0.4 the gap now. He will be able to make it side by side, but it'll have to be a late break, and he has to have the balls to try and do it. Here we go, let's see if the cojones. Half. Pulls out behind, but he takes a safer option, so respect to him. Jacob Meister still in the race. 5th position as he tries to climb up. A sec 3 yellow flag. Oof, putting on a little bit wide there. Blue flag coming through for Flubber it was, yep. And Revo, look at him in the lead as he comes through up towards that DRS corner. Oh no, Jacob Meister off the track there. He'll get overtaken. He'll lose about... Oh my. Stayed off the track too long. 10-second time penalty. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. 10 seconds. Alright. So Jacob Meister will have to deal with that. He's up in 8th. Jump up 2 positions here. Behind YouTuber. 0.8 behind Nut. Fastest lap, Revo with a 1:32.4. Man, he's out with a vengeance. Have a look at that. He's almost making 4 seconds on Flubber there. Flubber with a great drive. But when the pit's not involved, look at that. Revo is off and away. Okay, so all the gaps have blown out now. Closest one is the one you're watching, combined, 1.2 behind Nut. Sector 3 yellow flag. Let's have a look. Pacey off the track. God, look at the wing damage. Not only has he lost the end plate, but he's actually lost the flex plates as well. He'll have to go into the pits for sure. There's no way you can control that car. Okay. That's cool too. Stay out. Rah, fight the power. Let's go, Pacey. I've got to go sector 3 yellow flag again. Yeah. Let's have a look here. No, can't see anybody. I'm not sure what happened there, but Potsy's now retired from the race, so he must have had a little bit of an off there. Let's jump on board with Nut. He's trying to catch up to Bandcamp. Doing a good job out of it too. 0.6 now to go. Oh, he's fighting a little bit too much. That's going to scrub out. Is it going to be in the detection range? Yes, it is. So let's see how much he can close it up. It's 1 second now. He's not going to get anywhere close to take an overtake. But it's going to be enough for 15 kph. Here we go into 300. Yeah, look at that. Comes in. Oh, late braking. Using too much of the curb nut. But he holds on to it. Props to you. Bandcamp going well wide. Trying to keep the car nice and straight. CK80 has left the session. We're seeing a lot of dropouts here. Lap 10 of 13. So right now, Revo 4.2 seconds ahead. So all Revo has to do is hold on to that position for another 3 laps. He's good as golden and he'll take the sprint race. Not the closest so far in terms of interval. 0.6 between him and Bandcamp. Oof, he was very, very wide on that chicane there. Into that DRS zone. How much is it going to close up? Not a lot. In fact, it got bigger. Bandcamp got great exit speed there. You see some wing on the side of the track. This part of the chicane. The chicane. Very dangerous chicane. But will not be able to hold on just enough. So by the time he gets to the main straight, he'll be able to activate that DRS and absolutely hunt Bandcamp down. Let's have a look. Just don't screw up the exit here. Nice little curb. Here we go. So 0.5 is the gap. This is achievable. Nut will close the gap pretty damn quickly. Pacey coming out of the pits now. He'll rejoin in about 10th. Nut still has to filter back. So a good drive from Band to hold on to that. Apollo Pepsi. What happened at the start? Alright, so again, didn't quite see it properly, but there was an incident between you, Lotus, and Impulse. Lotus ended up sideways. And I mean like on his side. So it was a hell of an accident. See if we can go back at the end of the broadcast and get a better clip. Nut 0.6 combined YouTube at 1 second behind. Lap 11. So we'll be starting lap 12 pretty soon. Revo now 4.7 seconds ahead. I tell you what, he's bringing it. Ooh! 3 second time penalty for Revo. Okay, so, I mean, he's still winning. 1.3 seconds. But if Flubber can make up that difference, he'll win by default. Which would suck. But I mean, whatever. Rules are rules. Okay, so combined YouTuber. Sector 3 yellow flag. Let's have a look. No, neither of these guys. So Nut's going to try and chase down Bandcamp. Combined's going to try and chase down Nut. Both have DRS. Not in combined teammates, obviously. Are they teammates? No, they're not teammates. They just have similar colours. I hate that. I hate that about F2. I know enough to know someone shanked the big time. Yeah, there was... Again, I'm not too sure. I just saw the aftermath. But yeah, someone hit someone pretty damn hard. That is for sure. Look at Nut now, 0.4 behind Bandcamp. He's done a great job. Great drive. 5th position. It is good to point out the flubber is 4.1. It has come down a bit. Oh no, off the side. Oh my god, as I was just looking at the time, Nut goes way off. Ooh, what's the damage? Do we have damage? Come on, broadcast cam, work with me here. Can't quite see. I can't imagine that was soft though. Alright, so Nut loses a couple of positions. Unfortunate for him, he was doing so well. Revo with the fastest lap, 132.1. Ah, man. Alright, so Jacob Meister's going to try and make as much of this situation as he can. He's now within that 1 second mark of Nut. Will he be able to catch him on the straight? It is lap 13. No, the laps have gotten away from me. So here we go. Last lap has started. Revo 4.8 seconds behind. Right now he's in a comfortable lead. He's still leading by 1.7 seconds. So we'll have a look. Here's the real battle though. Jacob Meister is the closest one to anyone else on the track. He's going to try and get Nut. Look at that. He is already out to go onto the inside of that corner. Realizes it's not that good of an idea. Pulls himself back in. He'll try and work it up to the next DRS zone. And hopefully he'll be able to make that work. Ooh, getting very, very close to the back of Nut here as they come up to the Pirelli bridge. He's going to stay on the outside here. Ooh, there's contact. Nobody has any damage though. Oh, Nut putting himself in really good positions here. Jacob having to make choices. Right or left, right or left. Now here's going to be a key. Nut went off last time. Uses the curb again. Ooh, but Jacob gets a little bit unstuck, so the gap just increased. Still within the DRS though, so he'll have that. Now Jacob will have to try and use it as much as he can. Can he close the gap enough? What a defensive move from Nut. Forced him way out wide. I think the inevitable, you have to leave the space. So Nut doing a great job to hold on. So of course Revo is your winner. Flubber 2.2 seconds behind, so he'll take second. Gus Rules takes third. Bandcamp comes across the line in fourth, and it looks like Nut's going to do enough to hold on. I don't think either of them have time penalties. Here we go into that DRS zone. Oh my god, it's going to be close. There it is. Nut goes across. Jacob Meister behind. By 10 seconds? You had penalties, bruh. You had mad penalties. Okay. Okay, so an eventful race. We had 4 people retire. We had a car on its side. Revo takes the win. Great job from him. Good little turnaround from that first race. Flubber takes second, so nice little swap between those two. Gus takes third. Good drive from Bandcamp to put himself in 4th position. Unfortunate for Nut. He was holding really, really well until he went off on the inside of that chicane. T-Mac starts last and 6th. Great drive from you, sir. And now we're waiting for CK80 to finish. Okay. Sometimes I don't understand this board at all. Alright, there we go. So that is your sprint race done, which means, of course, that is the weekend done. So a great drive from all of our races. Whew, Spain. Well, a little bit of livelihood here for a track that's notorious for being plain. Spain is plain. I'm a rap artist. Okay, so nice to see Pink in first there. So all the drivers celebrate to finish off a great race weekend here for F2. Oh boy. Okay. so Revo takes your race win. Even with the 3-second penalty, still managed to hold out on top. He'll get 17 points for his trouble. Flubber takes second. He'll get 12. Gus rules with third position, and he takes 10. So great job for him. Ben Camp in fourth, Cabana YouTube in fifth, T-Mac in sixth, Nut 7th, Jacob 8th, CK 89th, Impulse takes 10th, and unfortunately Pacey there in 11th, and 4 DNFs. Oof, what a race weekend. Okay, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I have enjoyed casting for you. It was a little bit hard on my own, but I got through it. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for our 100% race. Make sure to tune in because that's going to be hectic. And of course next week, F2, we're in Monaco. And that's going to be crazy as hell. As usual, I've been Kunai Zero. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Bye for now.
You're